not gonna make it?
I'm about to explain that actually.
Okay.
So, first off, I also wanted to test if I was being DDoS still because that was happening earlier today. I don't know if it was the guy who
Oh.
followed me this morning, Pedikin, or if it was something else or somebody else. But I was getting DDoS hard. I had to restart my router and my computer twice just to get to try and break connection. Um, and finally it stopped. So my internet stopped being used up. So I also ran some other things, but we won't go into that because technically I can't mention that on stream. Wolf will not be joining us this session. He's got something to deal with making up for something else. I told him outright he wasn't allowed to join. He said he'd try and join towards the end, but since he's doing something for someone else and he told me about it, I just told him, don't even worry about it. If you guys are curious, I can speak more to that after stream, once the stream's off. As far as it goes, yeah, he won't be joining us today because he is going out to take care of something. I believe it's a dinner date is the basic concept. So he will not be joining, and I told him if he did, I'd kill Terias. But the good news is, you've still got me, and you're still stuck in this campaign. And you've still got 2 minutes pre-game to ask questions or thoughts.
Will we die?
Oh yeah, probably today.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I figured, but I just wanted to make sure.
Zero's gonna help load up all the heavy stuff that Terios had.
Yeah, all the iron and
She
stuff.
has the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not a problem. Yep. There's a 50-50 chance that you all are gonna die, and you can all blame Shogun.
What?
Thanks a lot.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
a lot, Chaston.
You're welcome.
I will mention, he also has no idea why.
Yeah, no, I really don't. I don't know what's happening.
It's because he
What did I
inhaled
do?
the drugs. It's because now the cartel's after us.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
I was the cartel. What do you mean?
Yeah, you're the problem.
Oh,
There's
God.
a new cartel in town coming from the Vidan lands.
You did
And
actually.
the woman who does it is very pissed off right now.
You did miss the fact that Trent's character on the Friday campaign did die. So
He just died. He got murdered. He got
He didn't just
slaughtered.
die. He got gang raped by
Ripped.
barbarians.
yeah,
Oh.
the whole thing was that he took on one of the three crime lords of Scottmish, a city in the Vidan territories, and she, being a very paranoid character, kind of broke his build a little bit because of how she was designed. And although he had noticed that she had a horn on her, he didn't. Trent didn't realize that when when I'm describing shit on someone, it usually means there's a reason for it. Because I don't go into general gear, because adventuring guild gear doesn't really usually stick out to players when you're got magic gear of your own. Because he got ganked by someone who had a Iron Horn of Valhalla. And he
what
was
does
not
that do?
expecting.
The
It breaks
legendary
action.
Horn of Valhalla.
Yeah, it breaks action economy pretty bad. It actually summoned some of the lowest amounts it could, but it basically summons so many berserkers to fight alongside you.
Oh.
It could get up to, I think it's like almost 60 of them if you roll high enough.
What?
But it only got 18, so it got a very low roll. Because it's like 64 berserkers or something. I can't remember what it was exactly, the number. But yeah, so I described that she had an iron horn on her, and he didn't realize, Trent didn't realize that what the item was. And when I gave him a chance to redo it, me and him got in a bit of a heated argument about some stuff, and so he decided he wasn't going to rejoin the campaign. So Brazi was killed outright, even though he was given the opportunity to work for the Drug Lord instead, but he chose not to. So, to be
The Iron
Horn of Valhalla
Solo
can
it?
summon at most
yeah,
Was he
25.
he did try to solo her instead of because he didn't want to involve the rest of the party, and I did warn him that she was level 12 prior to session. the past few weeks, I had mentioned that yeah, she's like level 12 to 15. Actually, her actual level was 15. I downplayed her level out of for what Wolf pulled down to level
Right.
12, and she's not very. Her stats were shit, to be honest. She had nothing good on her. She had a +3 club, and then it was just basically all potions. Like she had nothing else up her
Yeah,
sleeve.
let's ignore the all legendary potions she was carrying.
No, she was. She carried one legendary potion. That was the potion of giant, and she couldn't drink it because it would have killed her in that room. Because she would have basically blown up. And the rest of them were just basically rare potions and uncommon potions. So, and yeah, they were valuable and they were useful, but it really depended on the situation. But her biggest thing was the fact that she didn't keep bodyguards because she kept that Iron Horn, and she also had a small panther. And yeah, Tren's character Brazi just couldn't. At level 5, taking on level 12 is already hard enough when you decide to do it solo.
Yeah.
And instead of coming and talking to me about his build, which I always recommend my players do, I do highly recommend if you are building a character that's very min-maxed, come talk to me if you're like, hey, I don't know if he's going to accept this or if this works together. Or even if you work it out with someone like Wolf or Fraz, come talk to me so I know what you're kind of building and so I can tell you, yes, this works together. No, I don't roll that way. And he got real upset because I ruled against one of his biggest things that basically gave him a huge amount of damage. Well, two of his things that gave him a huge amount of damage because they didn't make any actual sense in the game. And nor did they say that they were able to be combined, basically.
I mean, he admitted one was a lie. He was just really upset about the other one being ruled against.
Yeah, he did bullshit me, and I was a little mad about that. And while I don't mind, min-maxing, I do require that, and so he kind of got heated and blew up on me, Chasten, and Cook. So he got put in timeout by being server muted before the game yesterday. Because he flipped. And I mean, I even offered to let him refight the character, or the gal, knowing full well what was going on. But nothing I can do about that, and as far as I'm concerned, I think Tren made the right decision by leaving the campaign. That's why I also opened up a position for the Friday campaign. So, but, yep, so he won't be joining back in any of my campaigns for a little while because, while I understand the trauma of players not...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying trend.
Yeah. No, I understand as far as like players who've been in my campaigns for a long time, realizing that I build my campaigns around to fight the players, is very much players versus the DM. I did mention this season of campaigns, since all three of the campaigns were all going to be starting over at level 1 and with new groups, that I would no longer be doing just specifically let me fuck over the party with huge amounts of monsters. Now I'm actually focusing more towards our stat blocks and trying to make characters built around themselves. And that character was a very bad choice for him. She was fully built around the idea that she was paranoid. And when you're a rogue who relies on invisibility and stealthiness, a
And you
paranoid
aren't even
character...
fully a rogue. You're a warlock.
Yeah, he was a warlock. But yeah, he built his whole thing around surprise and stealth, and she had the alert feat, which basically meant most of his shit was useless.
And I have to point out that I can understand him being upset with how much he thought he actually put into a character for once, because normally he doesn't. His characters are 90% of the time meme characters. Love them. All his characters are cool, because he turns them into something cool.
Yeah.
But getting that upset because a character you put a lot of thought into has died.
It wasn't the
Isn't
fact
worth-
that the character died that did cause him to quit, but the reason he was upset is because he thought because I've approved it, and I do mention this a lot of times, just because you guys come to me and say, hey, can you approve this? And I look over your character sheet. 99% of the time, I'm just skimming your character sheet to see if something really comes out to me. And then I'm like, oh, okay, then I'll let you know. But usually I'm skimming it, and then I'm reading your backstory to get something done for plot. So I don't have time to check every little detail. I don't mind min-maxing, and I don't mind you not telling me about it, but you really need to make sure if you're going to build something, and a lot of it's based on the DM's decision, you need to come talk to me about it. Because you don't want to be mid-battle and then find out that, I'm going to say no. Or...
That's why I came and talked to you about the entire Ranger thing with the BCR cap.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I just basically need to switch classes after 3rd level.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is also I don't like my players lying to me. When you run a
Yeah.
character and your character does not say that you have this ability and you decide to try and pull it anyways, a lot of times I'm not necessarily paying attention to your character sheet, as I mentioned. So I expect you to be fully honest with me. Now I do run monsters sometimes with unique abilities that that aren't on the stat blocks, but I also make sure it's very easily seen on what they're doing. A good example being the Mind Flare Dragon. It had one minor ability, and that was to move through its tentacles. But I also made it clear to the entire party that they could start to see that the walls were filling with fucking tentacles. So,
And we started booking it.
yeah, and it's
And then we made fun of it like idiots, right, Cheston?
well,
I live.
Cheston lived. You didn't. But yeah,
I
no.
created the
To be
best
fair, I
monster
made
in the
fun of it
game.
After I had a giant distance gain on it.
But yeah, so the big thing is
Oh.
really the big takeaway for recommendations in the future. If you're going to run a character in my campaigns, make sure to always come talk to me about it first when you're running something that's a unique build. And if you're going to min-max and it's outside of the D&D rules or it doesn't specify something, you need to come chat with me. If I catch you in the midst of a lie or you're bullshitting me, outright I will kill your character and I will kick you from my campaigns because, that's just not cool to do. There's no reason you shouldn't be telling me things, because a lot of times, even if you do tell me it, I probably won't remember it the following week. So you're fine as long as you get my approval. But yes, so for future
But
reference,
make sure you're getting his honest approval on what the abilities actually are.
yeah, like for example the push and pull thing. But so as far as it goes, and yes, and then if you get heated, don't just note I will put you on timeout because I don't want to listen to you scream. You shouldn't if you are getting that heated with me and you can't have an adult conversation. That we're done. So, with all that being said, as I mentioned, Wolf will not be joining us today. He is making up a dinner date. So he is not available. He is not allowed to join because if he does join, I will kill his character. I told him to go spend time with the person that he had promised a dinner date to. So he needs to go spend time with them. And otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, last time we left off, the party themselves managed to finally arrive at what was Terias's home. In the what they realized was the Gnomish lands, was being the key word. The city itself small town he came from seemed to have been completely demolished, burned down, and scattered to the dust, all but his own laboratory, which he would find as he arrived there that the lab being covered fully in dirt and corpses, as if someone had turned his entire lab into a burial mound. He would decide to stay there and begin working away at his lathe that he's been kind of developing, and would then continue or stay there while the rest of the party headed off. The rest of the party, upon investigating the area, trying to find other towns or any information on what truly happened to this area or if something else happened to the world while they were gone, found themselves all the way towards the School of Blood, one of 3 of the main schools of the Gnomish lands. In this school, they would find that it was completely abandoned, looking like it had been completely sieged and destroyed down. The party would explore the campus, having come across a rather large source of iron that Terias desperately needed for his lathe, and Sigrun would be kind enough to help him with bending and destroying as much iron as possible to bend to his will for his item. The rest of the party, while this was going on, would do some investigation on the museum itself, finding skeletons of all sorts, learning a lot of information about this place. And while this was going on, Nick would follow poor little Isabella as she disappeared into one of the towers, finding the corpse of a freshly dead gnome with 2 bite marks in its neck. Nick would decide to then retreat back after finding Isabella and head back to join with the party. And as the day went on, they would eventually go and check out the classrooms, where they would again find another body that Isabella supposedly had gone into the building of previously. Perfect timing. The party would find this corpse, well, half of them at least, and as soon as they found the destroyed and rather decimated corpse itself, how many dogs do you guys have to walk? Jesus. Okay, I don't care. as far as it goes,
Then don't ask if you don't care.
I will mute your ass and kick you out today.
Dog sitting.
Please, piss me off, Cameron. Please, give me the excuse. Alright, as I was saying. So, as far as it goes, yes, after exploring the classrooms more and Shogun stealing a few pieces of chalk, returning back down the hallway, they would find the corpse would have vanished, leading into what looked like the vents as the footprints on the walls would depict. Shogun would discover something interesting, having been given a chemical bomb and gained a ability score free point from Isabella's chemistry, although at the extent of losing all of his drugs, whether legal or non. The rest of the party would decide to bunker down again back in what was once the armory, where all the giant iron racks and tables were set up, and would spend the night there. And then come in the following morning, they would all gather together and prepare to leave, only to find Terias having disappeared for the time being. 100% all natural drugs approved. God damn it.
It was.
I mean, they were approved by Shogun.
There were no laws in this country because it's gone. It was legal.
It's true. I will say it is early morning. The sun has just risen on a very cool day. You can hear the river off in the distance as you lot kind of gather together, putting away the iron in Sarah's bag of holding, gaining about, I believe it was like 60 pounds of iron that had been gathered all together. Yeah. Isabella and Nick Jr. seem to be just waiting for the orders.
I was about to ask. I thought they were going to be gone again. All right.
Nope.
Do we have anything else to go to the school, or should we just go and move on?
I think we're good here.
Okay.
I think you had something you needed to do, didn't you?
Not here. I had decided one of the places we could head to.
Okay.
If we want to head there.
Yeah.
Else.
Yeah, we can start making our way there.
Either way, we got to go to a port. So.
That is true.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, blanking on her name now. The female
Isabella?
Isabella.
Mm-hmm.
She had. I'll find her and see if she still has that stone thing, or if Terias still has his half. I'm assuming that that's what got him here quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and she nods and shows that she still has it.
Okay.
So he can
I don't
teleport.
know where he went, but
Yep.
that seemed to work good before.
Mm-hmm. And Isabella kind of just nods and holds up a finger, and Nick Jr. kind of looks to the rest of the party and says that she needs to go and grab something from the museum before you all leave, while you pack up your gear and get ready to go.
Shogun's gonna go with her.
Okay.
I don't want a weird thing to happen when she vanishes.
Are you
Yeah.
following her like fully seen, or are you stealthing?
Oh no, she'll know I'm here. I'm just walking.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll walk
The other
with,
two can pack up.
unless
and
she
get ready.
doesn't want me to, but I will walk with.
Okay. She summons her floating disc, and starts floating off the ground and towards the city itself, or into the building itself. As she does so, she just kind of sits down on it and starts tinkering around with some metal as she's floating into the building. After you guys get inside the building, she kind of holds up her finger for you to wait, and then starts running off into one of the back rooms.
Okay, sure.
As Nick Jr. works with Nick Sr. and Sigrun to kind of pack up what's left. As you are kind of standing there, you hear her kind of in the back room smacking metal together. You hear the sounds of falling objects, the occasional slam of something. And then you see for a second a glowing blue light, and then it just, as soon as it appears, it disappears once more, and she comes walking back out, and then just hands or shows you guys that she now has a little necklace that has a similar symbol to the one that Terias used on the stone to teleport to you guys.
Oh. Okay. Sure.
Interesting.
And she just nods and starts heading out of the and kind of wraps the necklace, locks it behind her neck, so that way it's easier to use. And it's just a simple stone necklace made of simple random rocks that she's picked up along the way.
Is Sigrun there to see this?
No.
No.
Aw, dang.
You're
I
in
had
the
a
other
comment.
Yeah, no. As she finally, she just starts heading back towards the main building and smiles at you a lot.
I would like to go check Nick Senior's book for where the nearest port is, because I think he said his overworld book is pretty filled out.
I believe so. Yeah, that's part of his bestiary setup.
Yeah, so I'd like to see where the nearest like functioning port is.
Okay. Sarah, do you follow back to the group or back to the armory? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So let me pull that up for the map. Okay. So there are so when you see as Nick Senior comes, or as you guys come back to the room, Nick Senior kind of opens his book to show you. And there are 3 ports within about a week to 2 weeks travel. There's one south of you that is in the still in the Gnomish territories that may or may not be there. There's one to the north that goes where the lake you're at the river you're at currently opens up into the ocean. If you follow it just towards there, if you have a boat, it'll only take you about 2 days to get there, but by foot it will take you a full week. It is also to your northwest. The town doesn't have a name as it's a small fisherman's village mostly, but there are known to be merchant docks there where you can book passage. And lastly, to your southeast is a goblin city where a massive lake and where most this river that runs alongside the school actually kind of comes out to, and where a lot of the goblin slavers send their ships up and down.
Which way are we headed?
Only one choice there is. Goblin slave route, bad idea. Gnomish dock abandoned. So
Well, most likely. So let's head to the small town and hope it's still there.
Alright.
I was going to say the next closest town or cities outside of the Gnomish territories would be all the way in the Holy Dwarven lands, where you all know a war is currently going on. Or you can head even further south into the Dragonborn lands to the only city that's on Nick's map, which is Menestara.
Now we're gonna go
Yeah,
to the
no,
port.
we're not going there. I don't feel like being, killed.
Okay. So as you...
Dragonborn, I understand their plight. They've been shat on for a while, but yeah, nah.
Okay. Alright, so it's going to take you about a week and a half to get there as you start heading out. Going down the list, or up the list at this point, Shogun, is there anything you'd like to do during this week?
I would like to learn how to actually use my sword.
Okay. So you're just trying to gain...
Proficiency with it.
Okay.
With Scimitar specifically.
Okay. Alright, go ahead and roll me a d20.
That's a 20.
Okay. So yeah, after a week of training, if I would have, they'd be dead by now. You're not wrong. Yeah, so after about a week of training, you do finally gain decent enough proficiency with a scimitar. And let me just grab it real quick. There you go. Training from... Alright. Okay, so yes. Alright, going down the list still, or going up the list. Well, Sigrun is on mute, so I assume they are still walking a dog.
Oh, no. Sorry, I just forgot to unmute myself.
Sigrun, is there anything you'd like to do on your week travel?
The kids. Do the children know how to hunt and forage and stuff of the like? Are they outdoorsy at all?
I doubt it. They're a sorcerer and an artificer.
Nick,
Then
knows how to hunt. He does have a small crossbow that he uses. That you noticed that Isabella crafted for him during your guys' downtime.
Yes, good.
And Isabella is even better at hunting, as she seems to be able to almost hide her tracks completely.
I
So,
look
yeah.
at Sigrun. One of them's a me from a different timeline.
Shut
I
up.
think
You're
I know
not
how
in
to
this
hunt.
cutscene. You're not in this cutscene. You're not in this cutscene. No. So if the children are competent in hunting,
Mhm.
then I just imagine Sigrun would have probably just hunted with them anyway.
Okay.
You know, get food. Other than that, obviously
For one
training
animal
with her
life.
axe. Seeing, I think she tried to see like what specifically, if anything, triggers the Dwarven guy to appear besides just like saying his
Calling him.
name. Like I know there was like opening the bag. I know there was she's like testing out like how she holds the axe, just like stuff like that. Just keeping her
Annoying the
reflexes
dwarf and the
sharp.
axe. Got it.
So yeah,
She-
the entire week, the axe is silent.
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
Friend has hibernated.
But I will say that during your hunting periods, you do find that your axe is definitely getting sharper as it's able to cleave better. Do give me a survival check real quick to see
Ooh,
how well
it's-
you do for your hunting.
I'll be sad if I get a low roll, but it happens.
One,
A lot.
one.
Shut up! Shut
Critical
up!
fail.
Shut
Critical
up!
fail.
Shut up! I'll probably get it.
If she
As
dies
my
on a
character sheet
hunting
would load.
accident, I'm letting you know right now she's gonna be killed by Robert Baratheon because the joke is just irresistible.
God damn.
No.
discover Sigrun's body with a man there. And we have to go. Wait, that's not a boar. That was a person.
Yep. The boar killed by the
Hunting a
man.
boar.
Yep.
19. Fuck you all.
Damn it.
Uh,
Damn it.
all right, yeah,
Could
Sigrun,
she
you
still be hunted?
you manage to gain a few using the two children to kind of flank and scare out game. You managed to catch a few rabbits here or along the trip without ever having to use any of your rations. But still seeing no decent sized game. Most of it's on the smaller size.
No berries or plants or anything either, or
No.
like roots or nuts.
Most of the
Nope.
trees,
Alright.
even the trees themselves, seem to be either dying or poisoned. So
Well, then there's probably a lot of firewood to be had, huh?
yeah, you guys don't have a hard time making fires at night. But yeah,
Nice.
all right.
Firewood also normally sells for a lot.
Not really. Sarah, you're up. What would you like to do during your week?
At night when camping
Mm-hmm.
or when setting up for the night, she's going to be reading through that book of the artifacts that she got
Okay.
mechanically. I assume it doesn't do much, but just
Nope.
she's studying it.
Okay.
And then she started to notice that Isabel is sort of, well, mechanically I know she's an artificer, but magically attuned similar to how Sarah is. So she's going to spend some time with Isabel and probably like during the travel during the day or once we camp at night of kind of showing her what Sarah has done with the bag of holding and the armor and just kind of like, similar kin to similar kin type thing of what they
Okay.
do.
Yeah, she'll show you her infusions that she can do armor of magical strength, enhanced weapons, enhanced defense, and repeating shot. And she currently is running the enhanced weapon and enhanced defense on her crossbow and her studded leather armor.
Yeah, I'll share the same, similar, which to her would be a bag of holding, a replicate bag, or a magical item bag of holding, also goggles of night, enhanced defense, and armor of magical strength as well.
Okay.
But obviously, Sarah's only doing the bag of holding and
Yeah.
the enhanced defense. So.
Okay. Yeah, and she'll show she's pretty competent at crafting just basic items. She's definitely not very good at. She's managed to blow herself up a few times trying to make magic stuff. So, so far she
Yeah,
has no
other
magic
than that,
item.
Yeah, other than that, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing much. Just
Okay.
sifting through that book and basically spending time with Isabel.
Sarah, give me a perception check. I just want to see something. Okay.
9.
I'll keep that in mind for later. All right. And then Nick, you've got a week. What would you like to spend it doing?
Well,
Now you could talk to Sigrun.
actually, I'm going to ask Sigrun after they've done hunting each day to help me train up some strength so that I'm not
Ooh.
puny.
Okay.
Yeah, Sigrun, being like asked to help him train, she grins and she kind of like grasps and lets go of the handle for axe, like, I am more than willing to help you train.
We're just trying to get me up to basic strength. I ended up sick as a child, so I'm not
Of course.
muscular.
I will use
But I can do
gentle axe.
All right, Sigrun, give me an intelligence check, and Nick,
Oh,
give
God.
me a strength check.
Okay.
Ooh, intelligence. Do you have a -1 in yours as well?
Yeah, 11.
11, okay.
9.
Yeah, so while Sigrun seems to be pretty competent at fighting, and very competent, as you find, is she just continuously just beats you and thinks that's training.
He'll learn. Push
Try
baby out
to
of nest.
correct as we go.
Yeah, she continues to just beat you left and right. There's really no chance of training. This is more of learning con.
I'll go. I'll go just try and carry Shogun's bag for a while.
Yeah, mine.
Funniest is before the rolls, I did the Hulk and Loki just bashing one, so that was like a premonition or something.
Oh, it's perfect. It's so accurate. Oh, man. Basically, yeah. So for the rest of the party, you just see each night after Sigrun comes back, as Nick kind of readies himself to fight and giving himself a weapon in hand, whether he has a dagger or something or not.
I have a short sword.
Okay, using
But
that
I keep
against
it
Sigrun. Sigrun turns her axe nicely enough not to kill you. Just using the
Yep,
dull sides, and
one
just smacks the shit out of you. You get one hit in, and that's about it by the end of it. You every night come back very bruised and beaten. You realize maybe the really the slightly dumber barbarian probably wouldn't be the good person to train with.
You know, Nick,
I'll try
I'm
asking
insulted.
Terias
No.
instead the next night, one of the
I was gonna say,
nights.
I'm
I'm
insulted
good
you
for
went with the
training. I'm just not
barbarian.
good at technique.
Yeah.
No. I'm insulted you with the barbarian instead of the guy who can double gravity. I would have been a great training partner for strength.
But
Both of us at once.
as the-
He has to fight me with double gravity. Or
As-
double gravity on me, so Nick has a little bit of, I have a disability for Nick's sake, give him advantage.
Yeah, so as the nights go on and the beatings continue,
My strength doesn't
Pain
go up,
is
my
part
con
of
does.
the
Got it.
process.
no
Yeah.
con increase, but you do finally learn one thing. Scrofade don't really have a training mechanism setup that's
I
healthy.
stop it right after I learned that.
I
Yeah.
don't.
That takes a few days of realizing the culture that the Scrofade the way they train is they just beat each other until they get
I
stronger.
stop it after that, and then I go talk to Shogun about helping me get stronger
Okay.
somehow.
I will-
Asking the smart one.
Uh-huh.
This is not going to go well for me.
Shogun, how do you wish to help Nick?
I'll
So
be of
he's gonna
service
do
if
basic
you need
workouts
me.
while I double his weight.
Okay. Shogun, give me an Arcana check, and Nick, give me another Strength check.
I need Arcana for my field of gravity.
No, this is just to see how strong it gets.
That's a 14.
I rolled good.
Okay. So after 2 days, Nick's starting to feel himself get stronger. He doesn't get an ABS increase due to the short time period. But that's definitely a lot more effective training mechanism than being beaten by a giant warthog.
We look at Shogun and Goblin. We need to do this whenever we have downtime. Do you mind?
Fine by me.
All right.
The Shogun sits back and continues just to wave his wand everywhere.
I'm not a book while I wave my wand.
I'm now incredibly skilled at non-lethally defeating my enemies with an axe. This isn't useful to me, but
Hey, look. You can if Reese pulls that, you can say you have advantage at using non-lethal.
Non-lethal.
Yes, you are very good at beating human males with your axe
near to
non-lethally.
death. Yeah.
But yeah, so as the party goes on, for those who cast magic, please give me Arcana checks. So pretty much everyone
Okay.
but Sigrun.
Yeah, it's 27.
Okay.
That's a 17.
Okay.
Wow,
Of course,
I'm not
this
even
is what I get a
skilled in
max
magic.
roll on. I get
Oh,
a
Yeah,
max
20 for
wow.
27.
Hey,
Oh my
come
gosh.
Okay.
on.
Well,
my
this kind of
God.
ruins a plot twist I was holding on to, but fair enough. So as you get closer at the end of your week, you've been traveling for quite a while. I will mention, I will note that by the day 5, you start to pick on that Isabella has been like draining her magic somewhat. Something is very much attached to her mana, and which
Leech.
Nick, Sarah, and Shogun all notice. However, Sarah and Shogun, due to your fucking phenomenal rolls, you can sense that trail goes all the way back to that city, and there's a lot of magic as you notice a bright blue light of magicules coming from that direction. That you're able to
City
sense.
we're going to.
No, city the university you came from.
I'm gonna be more worried about Isabel going, "Are you alright?"
She just nods, completely confused on what you're referring to.
Okay. If you start feeling tired, just rest a bit.
She gives
Yeah,
a thumbs up.
Let the boar carry you.
at some point when Sarah would be alone with Isabel, then would be, do we need to go back to that school?
She shakes her head no.
You're sure?
Why would we go back there?
As Sigrun just walks up to you.
Yeah, just pipes up from the sidelines, still carrying a bunch of
Still-
iron and shit.
Still whacking things with the axe on the flat side of the axe.
Yeah, you know,
practicing.
Yeah,
she's,
'cause-
she's practicing with the wooden handle part now, or whatever handle part now.
Holding it by the blade.
Yes.
True fighting.
Yeah, because Sarah will actually
No.
tell Isabel that, yeah, because I sense that there's something tying back to that school for you.
She
If
she
we need
shrugs
to
her
help you, we
shoulders.
can.
Just shrugs her shoulders and shakes her head no.
Well, if it changes, please let me or someone else know, because you're with us now. We will help.
She smiles and nods.
I'm casting Identify. See what if
I'm a
it's spell,
child.
Identify the child. It is a
Well,
child.
it'll tell me if there's a spell connected. It'll tell me what the spell is.
Oh.
So
Oh, fun.
yeah. So potentially,
Child. What
During one of these longer
school of
rests.
magic are you?
I need to check something, so I need to make sure I have that right.
that's probably not good. Well, I'll keep that in mind.
No. Oh no.
Also to know,
It's a vampire.
Sarah,
Yeah, totally. Yes.
anytime when she's with the group, anytime she's pulling out the sword, basically, she's kind of doing the like turning around so that it's like covered to the rest of the group, or like walking behind Sigrun or something
Okay.
to
Yes,
sort
I'm
of
very
hide.
good at hiding.
Yeah, sort of hide the change from the bracelet to the sword.
Okay. All right.
If Sarah
just as
asks Sigrun purposely to hide, I don't know if Sigrun knows in character or not. Sigrun will help her with that.
No, it's just more right now. She's self-conscious of have
Your
other
blade's a
people
little
seeing the
small.
change.
I get it. I get it.
Shogun
No.
is going to tell Sarah only because they realized the similar thing to what Shogun realized, and I will send that exact same message. That's what we found out. We'll have to keep that in mind.
You know, I realized something was going on. I just didn't
No,
sense
but-
where.
But unlike you, Sarah realized
okay.
what was happening. So
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I'm just not magically gifted.
exactly. You don't need to know.
Okay. So as you lot kind of continue heading your way, like I said, at the end of the week after this all goes on, as you arrive at what was the port city, you find literally, again, nothing but scorched ground. It looks as if something rather large and very hot must have hit where this town was, as the only thing
Fire.
left are the square grids of where these buildings were. There's no stone. There's nothing left.
Huh.
What is it with the cities in this area and not being here?
I look at Sigrun. This is a war-torn country. Except less torn and more just erased.
country anymore. It is not.
But clearly, they needed better defenses.
Oh, this was just supposed to be a small fishing village. It wouldn't have had any defenses, even if the rest of the country did. It was too out of the way for them to bother with.
Well, we're at the coast
At the
now. Do we
warriors.
follow the coast? Try
I
to get
check
to
my
whatever the
map and
next city
see
is?
if there's any port cities
The next-
What
nearby.
does?
The next closest city currently would be in the Holy Dwarven Lands, far to the north, or as I mentioned, the only other one would be far to the south in the Dragonborn Lands.
How long?
For north, that'll be about another 2 weeks journey, marching that way, and it is through very very dense forest. That you'll be
Hey,
going through.
my favorite terrain.
What's the wildlife looking like here? Still very
There's
dead.
nothing here. Yeah, you've seen no animals.
This is
Everything is
This
this
dead.
is Deadlands. Don't even try.
Yeah, you'd be going north of the city of
Oh wait, no,
Shininess.
Rexland is my.
Or you'd be going. You'd be heading directly west of the city of Shininess, which is one of the last gnomish towns that you'll be basically passing that borders the Holy Dwarven Empire. You could
We
also
can
continue
either-
north and head to the Mountain Elf lands and all the way up into the Drowlands if you wanted. There are port cities in both territories, or you can go into the High Elven lands where there's many ports.
We have options,
mean,
but
that
not
does
many
get
of them are
closer
good.
back to Sarah's home area.
Mm-hmm.
We can head north and try to skip the warring country right now and not stop there too much, and try to avoid being taken as hostages.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think we want to try
We
to.
don't want to try and stop at a port
go
there.
through the war.
The prices are going to be raised just because they're at war. Aside from that, we can head south to the Dragonborn lands, which I still don't recommend, but it is an option.
There's also the city of Kadeshia that you could go to in the Dwarven lands. It's really well known. It's famous for its port, being the largest port in the European territories.
However, there is food because there is none around here.
We'll be passing through a forest, so we should be able to find food.
Many.
I'm pretty adept at that, and we've passed through quite a few of them, so food won't be an issue. Our biggest problem will be in those forests. We'll have to definitely set up watches.
Mm-hmm.
Let's head north is where I'm gonna say let's either stop at the biggest port city in the Dwarvish Empire, in the Holy Dwarven Empire, or go past it and head into the Mountain Elves or Drow or even High Elf. Any of those three, at least, won't try to charge us an arm and a leg just to get a boat trip a short ways away.
I can
North, I
provide them
would-
with arm and leg
Yeah,
if
there
we
you
find
go.
people to take them
And
from.
if you would like to see the geography, I do have that map as well, so you can easily see what's going on there.
And which world
we're-
is this?
This is-
Frontier
We're at
and
the-
Premier.
You're still. It's all one world now, but it's
Okay.
Yeah, as far as
This
it
is-
goes, you
This
are.
This is from the original Silencia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to give
Thought
you guys
so.
an idea, and then I'm gonna send you the geography version of the map real quick, just so you can kind of see what you're dealing with.
Let's go to Italy.
And we're at the blue circle.
Yep. That's
Or-
currently the city
okay.
you're in. Yep. And there's
Just
the
my
terrain.
map switch showing the political than the geographical.
No, it would show both. I just I keep them separate to make it easier for naming stuff.
I'm just asking if it magically flips between them,
It does
but is
not.
able to show both. Oh,
It shows all. So you only get the political territories, and then you get the geography as well with the same map. But yeah, so
Okay.
your choices are basically, yes, currently those are the major territories. You can go to Kadeshia, which is a huge port. You can go to the Mountain Elf lands to the north as well, which have two major ports. The High Elven lands, which will have many. The Drowlands, which have three major ports. And or you can head back down to the Dragonborn lands.
we're gonna head north. I don't feel like
Yeah.
When
I really don't feel like becoming Dragonborn slaves, given the world that we saw before.
at some point when looking at the map, figuring out where to go, Sarah will say that she is from Kadeshia, because that's the Cadeshia,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then that might be the best way, because that's also a port city. You'll know your way around.
I
Yeah.
will say that'll take you about a month and a half walking.
Yeah, it's gonna be
If we can find a place to
long
stop
ways.
and get a cart,
Same
even if we have
horses.
to borrow it.
Nick looks at you and goes, "You lot don't know how to summon." He kind of.
I look him dead in the eyes right now and I go, I feel like you should already know I'm not hyper magically inclined. The only ones that are Sarah and Shogun.
I am my
Summoning-
own speed.
Summoning my specialty is not.
Nick nods and goes, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
more of a magic tinkerer.
I guess we
If Terios was with us, we might be able to try to travel that way, but I don't know if that would work either.
I mean, well, Isabella, she knows some of the teleportation. If you know the location of any of the circles, she may be able to teleport us around.
Well, Sarah originally being from there, do you have anything from there?
That's what I was gonna ask. I mean, I was a member of the guards. I don't know if that would have included teleportation space, because she would have probably noted that if she did. But
Kadeshia does have a teleportation circle in the Noble District. The nobles from the capital definitely use it quite often to travel between cities, because it's a lot less costly than to chance getting mugged. So yeah, you theoretically would know where to go, and most of your items are from those lands.
Let's use
Yeah.
our wolves connection.
You could also do that. in the next
yeah,
city.
possible.
Yeah. You could head to the City of Shininess. You don't know if it's standing, but you could head there and try and see if you can use your connection to get a ride.
How far do we, or is that
About a week at max.
about a week? Then I'll share that then, as we could try. Sigrun and I might have a connection in the next city if it's still there, or I can try drawing
Well,
out the
either way, heading to the
teleportation
next city
circle.
wouldn't be a bad idea, because even if it's not standing, as long as there's some buildings there that haven't been entirely demolished and looted, we might be able to find something and help ourselves along the way.
Okay.
Yeah, then if we're doing that, Sarah will like in the first night try to sketch down the teleportation circle,
Okay.
or because she probably made notes, she probably did not sketch the circle.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
would be my guess. So
Isabella kind of nods as she works with you on the road. It will take you the week to get the proper design done for a
Yeah.
teleportation circle.
Time to practice with Shogun more.
I'm gonna say, since you guys are kind of in a rush to get to somewhere where you can get a ride, more than less, there won't be as much time for training. So
I
yes.
had a
I
thing.
accept this.
I want to approach Nick.
Oh God.
uh,
Oh God, no,
Nick.
no.
my friend, I help you. Yes, I want you to help me now. You are smart with the plants and the animals. Yes.
Yeah, I know my way around most of them.
I want you to I'm new to these wilderness. I want you to teach me of this place, so I am better at the land and the wildlife. I want you to share your knowledge with me. You're supposed to be
I will
smart,
teach.
right?
I can teach you the basics of what's poisonous and what's not here.
Yes, that is important to know.
Okay. Nick, go ahead and give me a survival check or nature. I'll take either.
What do I gotta roll?
One sec.
We'll do survival because that's higher.
Okay.
Nick is on. He's sore from being beat up and a little shell shocked
Okay.
from getting his ass kicked.
Yes.
And what'd you get?
8.
Yeah, Sigrun, give me a Constitution saving throw.
yep.
He gives me poisonous berries on purpose.
No,
What
he's
save
very
is-
scared.
What is my save?
See, the thing
My
is, while he's trying to
con
teach you, I'm
save.
still doubling his gravity.
Yeah, he's distracted right now. He's moving much slower.
I got a bad roll.
Sigrun, how do you like poison damage?
You're resistant to it.
Should be immune.
Yeah,
Or if you wait, yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
immune.
Okay, so,
I don't even feel it.
so
It's just poof. Spicy.
Yeah, I'm immune to poison. from
okay,
acid
so
stone
that
damage.
would
You're
be
just it's just spicy
two-
berries.
So you take 1 point of poison damage because immunity just means it's quarter damage, from what I recall. So quarter, that's one point.
Rules as written or homebrew.
I believe that's rules as written, correct?
Rules is written. Immunity
Nope.
is
It is.
immunity. You don't take any
Yep.
damage.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. Normally you would have taken 5
Yes.
points of poison damage.
It's just spicy food now.
It tastes
Yep.
terrible. And honestly, everything about it is not what Nick describes.
Nick looks like he's sweating under double gravity, though.
This berry, it does not taste good.
Nick blinks a few times, looks at it.
Good pick.
Oh shit, that's the wrong one.
She eats another handful. Has good spice. though.
Wrong one.
Yum.
Are
Were
you
saying
immune to
something?
poisons?
I am immune
Those ones
to
are
most
poisonous.
things. Does not taste like it.
Okay, don't share those with the kids.
They will get strong if they eat it and it doesn't kill
No.
them.
I look her
What
dead in the eyes.
is-
You know what? I even pull her down to my height.
If you
Gently.
How do you try to
Gently
do
lead
that?
her
What do you
down.
grab
Gently leading
to
you
pull
down.
her to your height?
Alexa,
How do you, what-
I'll double her gravity.
No.
I got it.
Yeah, this
what do
works.
You
Double her
grab to
gravity.
pull her down? Oh. Well, I'm double my weight now.
Yeah, so you're hunched over, definitely.
I
It's a
found
very
these
sudden
berries.
doubling.
And
They
then I
make
grab
a
your ear and look you in the eyes.
lethargic.
Do not feed those to the children. Please.
She grabs your ear and then she pulls you close. Don't feed the child poison berry. And then she just eats a handful while looking you in the eye, just like you
You're
make
not
mistake
a
with me.
child.
I am unkillable. You make mistake with children. I am killing you.
Usually
she
I
gives you
don't
thumbs
make
up.
mistakes, but also I'm under a lot of weight right now.
Yes, I feel it. It must be these berries.
Well-
I'm extra heavy now.
Since those two are distracted, I'll relay that to Sarah.
I'm just eating poison berries and chatting to
There you go.
Nick.
That's probably real bad,
So-
but there you go.
I let go and I just go back and I'm like, I'll write down things that are not poisonous for you. I'll write down the simple rules.
No, include the poisonness. I'm not affected, so I can eat.
Yeah,
I can eat.
no,
what
this will be a basic guide. I'll write that as well. Basics guide for foraging. God, I'm gonna become an author.
Nom nom nom. she takes a branch to go. Well, actually,
And
she
this time
collects.
it's a branch of poison oak.
No, Sigrun's eating red berries. You don't know what these berries are. You just realize they're poisonous
Well,
at this
she
point.
doesn't eat all of them. She actually takes some, and you see her like harvest
You
them
know
and put
what?
them in
I'll
the bag
collect a
for
few in my
later.
herbalism pouch too, because if they're poisonous, I could use them
Yeah.
to make something.
Okay.
How many red berries do I get?
Let's say 32.
Nice. I shall use these later. Maybe.
And I go back to training squats as my weight is back doubled.
Okay.
I also train squats now that my weight's doubled, and I outdo
No, I can only
Nick.
double one person at a time. Sorry.
Well, I'm
Well,
training
actually,
now.
I can double an area if you guys are close enough.
Yes, we're doing squats together, and I'm like yelling at Nick to like keep up, tiny man. The fate of the world lies in your calves.
And this,
Harder.
and this is why Maya didn't want to come to the gym with me at 3 a.m.
Exactly.
Because this is
Sigrun's just
what Royce would be.
Royce.
Sigrun is a mixture of Royce and memes.
All right.
You guys made the memes. I just made a boar lady.
Shogun, as you sense this coming from that distance, as I mentioned, sharing that with Sarah, as these two continue to do squats in this ever-moving area as they walk, slowing down your travel quite a bit. It does take you about a week and a half to finally get to this town of known as the town of Shininess. And as you arrive at this city, you find, again, this was supposed to be an extremely large settlement. The last recorded known was around 6,000 gnomes living in this city. And again, the city is completely barren, all but a single tower that stands 2 stories tall, about 25 feet thick, and has a little purple cap while being made of gray stones. It is the only thing left standing, and the windows are still intact.
50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
Yep.
Now it's a ghost town.
Exactly. Kind of want to check the one tower.
I thought we were headed to an actual city at this point. I see I was disappointed.
Next city.
No, there is no next city. It's a loop.
Next city will hopefully be quick.
Okay. What do you want to do?
How about we make our own city?
Don't think that's how it works, but okay.
Then there will be one.
I will, if we want to try to have Isabel Tortiborse. I can speak.
Hey, are you good?
It's my accent. I threw him off. It's all part of the plan.
The Nadvilles are really getting to you now, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I will actually, because Sarah has 2 necklaces on. That's mostly time underneath her clothes or on her armor and stuff. She will pull one of them out. It's just a very simple, silverish type necklace. Just has a little green gem on it. It's probably not even an emerald. But she will hand that to Isabel as an item that's from there, and allow her to use that as a kind of a focus for the teleport.
Should we go to the tower?
She nods at you all and kind of takes the necklace and takes the piece of paper and starts walking towards the tower.
I take that as yes.
Nick Jr. just nods and follows.
Yep. Sigrun's marching after Isabel, ready to explore this tower.
Okay.
I hope they left some magical food in here. They have that, right? Magical food?
Shogun is going to speak to Sarah and Nick Sr.
I'm with the kids. I'm babysitting.
Leave very quick. We should. Bad magic. Not too far.
Bad magic and a Royce campaign.
Yeah, let's make this quick then.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Alright. So as you head towards the tower, Sigrun, Isabel kind of opens up the wooden door and as she opens it, you see it's just an empty tower. Literally, there's nothing here. You can see the stairs kind of circling to go up another floor. But there is a cellar that you can definitely see that has an opening. And as you walk in, it's an empty room. Like I said, there's legitimately nothing in here, minus the floors and the bricks that make up the wall. And Isabella just kind of looks at Sigrun and nods and goes to open up the big the cellar door and kind of struggles with it, trying to pull it.
I go over.
Okay, give me a strength check.
Yeah, she's struggling. Yeah, I'll go over to just be like, let me. Avery, please be kind. I'll be judged by children if I don't roll good. You said
will.
strength check, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. 22.
Thank God. As you go to pull it, you realize it wasn't really a problem of being heavy. It was stuck on something as one of the boards tears off as you lift the door up.
Yep.
breaking
Yeah, I
the
ju-
hatch, and immediately you see the torches down there light. As you can clearly see, there's something drawn on the ground that looks like a giant magic circle.
Hey, look, a drawing. And she just like sets aside the broken door. Is that what you're looking for?
Isabella nods and heads down as you see Shogun, Sarah, and Nick head into the tower behind you.
Yeah, she like gestures. The child's down there with the magic drawing thing. I'm heading up to look for resources. And she starts how like close are the stairs together? Would I have to actually climb them, or can I just like jump up, grab the stairs, and just like athletics my way up?
You could
Without
pull
walking
yourself.
them.
You could pull yourself up onto the stairs.
If it'll save time, I'd like to attempt that.
Go ahead and give me an athletics check.
Half weight. Mm,
Oh, you have my weight.
half
Thanks.
weight.
Okay.
Athletics. I don't think that gives me advantage or anything. Just makes
No,
me
it just
lighter.
lowers the DC.
You
Which
messed me up, man.
you fail as you go to pull yourself up. You're not used to the light and weight, and as you go to like pull,
Yeah, I jumped
you
too high.
You smack yourself in the head on the second floor, and then come back
Yeah.
down. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
What? The gravity is not right here. And she like looks at the ground, like puffs and like stomps like a hoof, like this place. It careful with jumping. I hit my head.
Okay.
And I guess she'll just stomp up the stairs normally.
Okay. All right. As you head up, we'll come back to you in a minute. Sarah, Nick, and Shogun, what would you like to do?
Seeing that there's a circle here and guessing that it doesn't take long for Isabel to do what she needs to do, we'll kind of start sketching in a little pad thing of the circle here.
Okay.
Just in case.
I will note the center of it looks to be a bloody dragon skull as the drawing. So.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she'll
a good
just try to sketch down as quickly as possible. Try to note any specific symbols.
Okay. Outside of the
That's
normal
just a reference.
outside of the normal teleportation design, that's the main thing that makes this circle unique. So, but all right, Nick, what about you? Nick,
How well furnished is this tower?
It
Does it
is
look
not.
lived in?
it is completely empty. At least on the first floor.
I'm not gonna try and go up and search floors because that just feels like it's asking for trouble.
I mean, Sigrun headed up there. You can.
There's only one more floor,
Yeah.
and it's up, and Sigrun's up there.
Yeah, then there's the basement where the circle is.
I'm gonna head up, follow up Sigrun. I'll look at Shogun and be like,
Okay.
I'm gonna go up, make sure she doesn't get us in too much trouble, because we don't know if this tower's owned by somebody and it's still standing for a reason.
Okay.
Mm.
Shogun?
Keep an eye on the magic, I will. Multiplying it was.
Okay. It is getting larger and closer. You can
Oh,
feel
no.
it's expanding outwards all around.
How close? how
You'd
close?
guess probably at least 2 weeks still out.
Okay. That's good.
All right. And Nick and Sigrun, as you head up to the second floor, all you see on the second floor is three pieces of furniture: a chest, a closed wooden chest, a table with what looks to be a strange marking on it, and a chair. Simple stone chair that looks to be not very heavy. It looks to have been designed for a gnome. And on that chair, you see a very, very dead-looking gnome wizard who has rotted and the skeletal remains. Is,
Does
like,
he have a
falling apart.
nice hat?
He does not have a hat. His hair, although
Yeah,
he is
Sigrun
balding.
Sigrun turns to Nick. Look, I found those rations. And she kind of like laughs and she elbows him like jokingly, but with how strong she is and how light her weight is now, she elbows him a little too hard.
It's not
on
light anymore. You have
accident.
to be within my
You're
sight.
not light.
Oh.
You're regular weight.
Well,
I have to
either
be able to
way,
see you.
she elbows
Yeah.
you and she's rougher than she means to, but she's like laughing.
I'm gonna go take a look at the chest. Don't touch too much.
I will go look at this table, and she goes to the table with the marking on it.
Okay. Let me see. Sigrun, what languages
What do
you
I
speak?
see? What art? I'm an art critic now.
It definitely doesn't compare to Scrofe art in the slightest. It's too proper
No.
and well designed.
Oh, symmetrical.
Exactly. You
Symmetry is
actually
nice.
can read this. This is in Giant, written down on it.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
And as you read the rune, you know the rune itself that's drawn. You don't understand the language of, but what's written in the rune, in the carving marks, you do recognize as Giant, and it says, "Long stands the tower that rules."
Long stands the tower that rules.
Can
Well,
I roll
it was
history
right,
to
the
figure out
tower
what that
stood.
means?
Yeah, sure. Roll history.
Or you
I
want
have
giant?
to-
Hearing her
is it
read that
a-
aloud. 19.
Is that a phrase I would have recognized at all from where I was from, or?
Give me a history check.
All right, I'm good at history, guys. Don't worry.
And I
I
heard you.
think I
Don't
have
worry,
like a
Nick.
-1.
Good at history. That's what I said about Barbarous, but
That was his whole specialty.
Watch, I'm gonna get a nat 20, a 3, close enough.
You know nothing about this, Sigrun. This makes no sense to you. You've never even heard these phrases in Giant.
I'm pretty proud that the tower is still standing. You know, whoever wrote this, they didn't lie. You know, it's still
the
here.
curse of Barbarous lives on.
Nick,
Sigrid.
this is a
Nick.
term that was commonly used by the High King during the Age of Chaos.
Oh.
Oh.
And you
Mm.
realize as you see the symbol that Sigrun is looking at, that is the symbol of the old High King.
That's good.
Demon worshipper.
Yeah, actually, yeah, no, that's accurate.
I look at the chest. I'm gonna check this over for traps, and then I'm opening it. And then we're
I
leaving.
hope it's alive so I can fight something. It's been so boring. You know, it's
Good for you. I'm
are
checking
not the
it.
challenge.
I'm going over and I'm investigating it to make
Okay.
sure there's
She's like
no
leaning on the
traps.
table and just watching him.
Okay, good to know.
I get no plus to this.
Sigrun.
It's not a
Looks at
bad
the
idea.
gnome corpse, maybe pokes it a little bit.
Okay, it's not trapped as far as I can tell. I rolled
No.
a 5.
Give me a minute. Okay, first off, Sigrun, you said you're leaning on the table?
Yeah, just like I imagine
no.
she's like crosses her arms and leans her weight kind of back on it, like her not elbows on the table or anything, but just like leaning her weight against it, which probably isn't a good idea because she's so large. But you know,
Yeah, the table
She was
snaps
watching him.
almost immediately and breaks in half, actually.
oh,
It doesn't break
dexterity
like...
save.
No, you managed to catch yourself, thankfully. As you can hear it creaking. I mean, it's an old table, but it snaps the rune in half and just falls to the ground. Like, it doesn't seem like that would be normal. I mean, you've leaned on furniture not big enough for you before, and it
Yes.
doesn't snap in half. It usually crashes to the ground.
It was a trap.
No,
Oh.
it doesn't. Nothing happens. But Nick,
this-
with your investigation, you notice this has a lock on it that is magically locked.
Hey, Sigrun, you want to take this downstairs? Maybe Shogun can do something with it. Or we can take it with us.
I will open it. Is she like she
It's
kind of eyes the
magically
table, but then she
locked.
goes over. She tries to open it anyway. Pry it open.
I can't carry it. I asked the person who can, and they don't listen to me.
Sigrun's
Just
gonna
called you
attempt to
upstairs.
magically pry it, and if she can't, then
Except-
do I get any
Nick-
leverage, Royce? Any way to pry it open or no?
How do you want to pry it open?
I was imagining she would probably let me double check which weapon she has because she wouldn't want to use her good axe for this. I don't think.
Yeah, not
you have
the
a
axe
javelin?
immune to damage. God
She
forbid.
has a great axe, and she'll like pull that out and just kind of like split the blade like between like the crack of like the
Where
top
is she
and the
pulling
bottom,
this
and
random
she's
great
gonna-
axe out from?
She
We're all
has
women in
them
anime,
on
keep it-
her belt. She has a belt, and that's where all her weapons are sheathed.
Okay.
Stop thinking like a pervert. Shut up.
No,
Anyway, she grabs it, and then she's gonna put like the blade between the little like crease where like the lid in the bottom is, and like attempt to just like pry it open. It's just like a nudge. She's just testing how resistant this wood is.
Yeah, the wood seems pretty tough. It doesn't seem to budge from the axe itself.
All right, what is there like a visible lock on it or
Mhm.
no?
The magical lock, yeah.
It's
And-
it's literally what you can, as you look at, it's a actual iron lock that's stuck onto it, but there's no keyhole.
Then she'll attempt to chop the lock.
Okay. Give me an attack.
Yeah, alright, baby, it's my time to shine.
One.
Where's
one,
my great
one,
text?
one.
Shut up. If I get a 1, I'm probably gonna hit Nick, because he's right by me, so you don't want that.
That's true.
Plus, 5? 16.
Yeah.
Nick is moving away from this.
Go
As she
ahead and roll
swings.
damage.
Nice. What is my great axe? It's, okay.
1d12 plus 3.
1d12, yep. Just making sure I got the right axe. 9 damage.
All right. Yeah, you crush the box completely. There's nothing left of it.
Well, that's a good way to go around it. She looked through the
No,
rubble.
it's not, because it could have had a spell on it that destroys its contents.
Nick, as you look, given your basics background as a ranger, you recognize this was a mimic. Very weak and very low-ranking mimic,
Knew
but
it.
it was a mimic.
I sent him a message. I was like, I swear if it's a
successfully
mimic.
So are there guts on the inside? She just like
No.
she like lifts the wood up. Nope.
There aren't guts in it. It was it had 5 HP.
Or teeth or anything.
There are teeth on it that are clearly a bit broken and shattered now.
Nick, look! It was the fake one, and she like holds up a tooth proudly.
It was a mimic. Great. I couldn't sketch
You're
it.
not very observant.
I pull out the bestiary and make a quick sketch of the chest with teeth and just put it back.
See, I tell you, if a lock
I
doesn't
collect
have
the
a
teeth
lock
as
hole,
well because those
you
might
kill
be
it.
sellable.
Mhm.
So I collect
was
up all
there
the
any
teeth real quick.
contents in it? Like I don't know.
Yes.
Gnome pieces.
As you look inside of it, you find 2 things. You find a strange vial that simply reads
Yes.
in Dwarvish.
I read that.
It just says fire ale, don't drink.
I grab that immediately.
No. If he tries to take it, she's lifting it way above his height. Like, no, she got this. This is hers.
Okay.
Hey, they find those keepers, my friend. You know, as they say,
That
you
is-
didn't kill
that
the
is-
thing.
that melts people. Do not drink it.
Good. I coat my weapon in it. Oh, drink. Oh, it's a drink. And you see her kind of swirl it and look at it. Mmm.
It looks like alcohol.
What kind of drink? Mmm. I'll save
Plus,
this
you would
for
have left-
special occasions.
Okay.
It's known as fire ale. Don't drink it. The guy who made it was a
Fire
fucking.
ale.
The guy who
Um,
made it was a fucking moron. He put dragon fire.
I
This-
do love my
fundamentals in it.
ale.
The second item is a piece of paper wrapped up with a little seal on it. Just no markings on the seal. It's just a simple wax seal.
That's a scroll. We should take that down to the spellcasters.
Sarah would like this. She likes reading things. I don't know why, but I know she does.
May want to ask
See,
Shogun
like, yeah.
to identify it first.
That whatever. The nerds can look it over. Me and you, we can go find more mimics to kill. And she like wraps an arm
How
around your
many
shoulder
mimic
and
teeth
starts
did I
leading
manage
you
to gather
downstairs.
up, by the way?
Oh, she shattered the teeth. There's nothing left of them.
I'm taking the shrapnel because that can turn into bone dust, which can be used in herbalism.
True. Okay. So you
Yeah,
gain
and-
about 7 fragments.
And then, if Nick doesn't resist, then Sigrun's not gonna bother to look the corpse over. So if
Okay.
you want to do that, Cameron, she's like ready to lead you downstairs. Like, let's go brag about our victory.
Okay.
Is there anything else on the wizard's corpse as well?
He's wearing what looks to be some sort of cloak on him, and he does have a stick in his hand. Otherwise, his shoes are gone, his shirt, his pants
In
are
the
gone.
cloak and the stick.
Okay. Well, I've got good news and bad news for you.
Good news is I just got something cool. Bad news is I'm cursed.
Nope. Far worse.
What?
You
Far worse.
shouldn't have
What?
touched the gnome wizard. I knew better.
Yeah, so as you, pull, go ahead and, the skeleton's head turns towards you as you go to reach for its cloak.
Holy shit, you're alive.
No, no sound is heard.
Another thing to fight?
It just waits. It seems to be watching without having eyeballs. Its eye sockets are
I
following
stare
Nick.
back at it, just like, can I have your cloak?
It shakes its head back and forth no as the spider webs kind of fall to the ground off of it, and it's
Well,
you can
do you want to
hear
come with us
cracking.
then?
It shakes its head no again.
What
Come
killed
on, you're
you,
sitting
my
up here
friend?
doing nothing. It'll be fun. You'll have fun time.
Did the mimic kill you?
It shakes its head no.
Did you make the mimic?
What? Was that table important? I'm sorry if it was a family heirloom. You know, I'm so big. It just happens. You know, stuff breaks.
It shakes its head no.
Is that all you can say?
It shakes its head no again. As you guys are kind of staring at Sigrun, you see as Shogun is walking up the stairs and then starts to run.
Back away
is-
from the skeleton, you must.
Hey, hey, we killed the mimic.
Back
We
I
away.
had a
killed-
scroll.
I'm just talking to him. I put my
Wait.
hands down, not grabbing his cloak anymore.
I'm
not grabbing
waiting
for it.
very insistently, looking very distraught.
Okay, I
Can
take
I
a few steps
insight
back.
check to try to see why Shogun is
Yeah.
distraught and like
Go ahead.
why maybe the
Sigrun.
skeleton would scare him? All right, let's
Once
go,
Nick
baby.
gets close, I'm gonna whisper this.
Oh
Absolutely.
no, my dice fell. Where'd it go?
Here's what I say to
I'm
you,
backing
Nick.
up.
Here's what I say to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm gonna look at the note and be like, sorry for bothering your sleep.
Where'd my I just lost my physical D20.
I had to really stress that second part, Cameron.
I found it.
Nick's
Hang on.
eyes go wide and goes, well, I'm sorry for bothering your sleep, sir. We're gonna leave
that
through your teleportation
is-
circle if that's okay.
A 6 total insight.
You know, your insight doesn't have to be very clear to see that Shogun's panicked and scared of whatever this is.
Mm.
I'm gonna wave
Uh,
Sigrun over.
Yeah, Sigrun, she
In
kind of like.
Infernal, I whisper into Sigrun's ear as quietly as possible. Send it to her, because I'm not at my computer.
Well, no, I will, but you two are gonna be walking downstairs while I do this, I would hope.
No, yeah, Sigrun, she.
Yeah, we're
she doesn't
leaving.
seem to fully understand their fear, and she doesn't like back away, cower. But she kind of like tilts her head at the skeleton.
Yeah, that.
Keeps a hand near her axe and like starts walking away with them. She's like, oh, well, if he doesn't want to talk, then have a good rest. You two, you are being weird. And she like kind of walks, I guess, backwards with them if that's what they're insisting.
And I sent you the message. You know what it is now.
No, I know.
Yeah, no, real bad. real.
As you head back down, you hear the skeleton's head kind of turn again, and the last thing you see, Nick, being, as you walk down the stairs, is it looks like it goes back to being peaceful. At least now you know why the tower's still standing.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you come down, Sarah, during this time, did you just go down to the circle to help out with Isabella?
Yes,
Okay.
that and then yeah, sketch what's there.
Okay. So yeah, you can sense. You also sense a very powerful undead magic from coming from the second floor. Like I'm talking, Grand Wizard level powerful.
Okay.
So but yeah. So as you lot kind of head back down to the stairs,
I tell Sigrun when we get to the first floor, that was a lich. We don't go back up there. We leave him alone. He's a nice lich,
Sucks.
you did break his
Undead.
table.
but we leave him alone.
That-
He broke his
That
table.
would-
That was.
Hey, it was a very crappily built table. You know, it wasn't capable to handle my
I look
weight.
at Shogun and go, do you know what the High King was?
I would
He was a
assume I
king?
would.
No,
Right.
Shogun. Actually, I mean, till recently,
Would-
you didn't even know about the pantheons of this world. So the concept of the High King, the old High King, is unknown to you.
I give
Sigrun
him
probably
a
wouldn't
quick
know either,
crash
right?
course.
Same, yeah.
I give him a quick crash course of demon. Became god. Was an asshole to everybody.
Well, that's not accurate because most people who know, almost everyone minus very select few, which none of you are, only know the original High King or Alfred the Corrupt. He was the god of death before he became the High God.
Well, I explain it all as best I can then.
Because he is
God
he
of
was
death
not a
becomes
demon.
high god,
Mhm.
rules the world with an iron fist kind of deal. Not great guy.
Mm.
Worshipper of
lich
his
was him?
upstairs. No, that was one of his worshippers.
And now you have a scroll from his mimic chest.
Oh
And
yes, Sarah.
I think you should give that to Shogun. He
No,
might be able to
Sarah.
copy it to his book.
Sigrun
So that
just
Sarah-
ignores Nick, and she goes over to Sarah. She's like, Sarah, I know you like the paper and the magic stuff, so I brought you a gift. I killed it myself. There was a mimic. The word I think is in common.
I show Shogun
and she
the mimic
extends
key.
the spell. The spell
Yeah,
scroll,
see-
what I assume is a spell
Moment.
scroll.
Okay.
Seeing that, Sarah will attempt to figure out what it is, including potentially ritually casting Identify.
Okay. So as you look it over, it could be a spell scroll. It could also be just a scroll. You do notice pretty immediately, Sarah, that the magic used in it is definitely something to do with blood magic, because you can see the red ink coming from the inside of it without unsealing it. And
Shogun likes magic.
the seal on it is just simple. Just looks like it was just a ball of wax was used to seal it. No symbol or marking on it. So
No signet.
yeah, do you break the wax seal, or are you gonna cast Identify on it first?
I will cast Identify on it first
Okay.
and see what I get, and then potentially open it up.
Shogun really likes blood magic.
By the way, did I get the stick?
No.
Oh.
The moment you went to reach, it started turning towards you.
Let me correct that. There you go.
Okay.
You can go up there and get it. if you
Um,
want.
I'm not stealthy enough for that.
Yeah, you really
can
are.
go
I
up
can
and get
tell.
it if you want.
The most I can roll is a 24.
Oh, what's my stealth? It's a my stealth's actually a +2. I have good
I think
dex.
what to do with this.
Yeah, I will say.
Sarah,
go ahead.
yeah, Sarah will just say for right now. Looks like something we should probably investigate later, once we are somewhere better, and she'll put
Maybe
it in her
Shogun
bag
can
of
take a
holding.
look at it when we get to his lab.
You guys do whatever you want with the fancy letter scroll thingy. I really don't care. But look, Sarah, Nick tells me this is a special ale, limited edition, I assume. And she like pulls out the vial of the fire.
drink it
ASC
ever.
or whatever. It's it.
Given where you've traveled, you recognize this as fire ale. You know that this is very common amongst the dwarves to drink. Most other races cannot stand the level of cinnamon that's in it and the
I have
spice
the
to it.
stone axe. It's fine.
Uh,
Yeah, she throws it
yeah.
around and is like, I have it. I have it now, you know.
It
and I'm
is a
intrigued to
very
try it.
legendary and valuable brew for those who either A, know the recipe, or B, are able to sell it. Because there
Oh,
was
you know
only a
who knows-
limited amount.
You know who knows the recipe, Bargis?
Yeah, Bargers did learn it. That is true.
He has
Yeah,
the recipe.
He is-
that's
Sir-
one of the few things I've contributed to the world that it can literally melt tongues.
It has.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Sarah's probably tried it at one point in time because she grew up in the dwarven area, but
And it would
I
have
don't
like
think-
burned like no other.
yeah, like she doesn't.
It feels
she
like
doesn't
you're
it.
drinking pure liquid flames. It'd be easier just to down a bottle of Alchemist Fire.
Well, I've yet to try the
I
Alchemist
pull out a bottle of
fire,
Alchemist
but you know, I'll
Fire.
take
Alchemist
it.
Fire?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Should I
Sigrun,
try?
it's very hot. I've had it once before. But
I like hot. I like
Well,
I
then-
like things that have a
I
kick.
admit
You
the
know, mild
Alchemist
stuff
tongue got
is
melted
no
off
good.
by it once. It's
Then-
not
then you
safe
may
to
like it.
drink.
But I am no
the
elf.
dwarves seem to like it a lot.
The dwarves are
It's
respectful
also-
people.
It also seems to be a very expensive brew of
You
it.
might be able to resell it for more than what we have, which would contribute more than actually drinking it.
Hey, you don't
Yeah,
know
it-
that. The Mr. No Name is a dwarf, and I've been talking to him. You know, maybe if I drink this, it's unlock something, or you know, I don't know how
Ye-
these things work. Fate, prophecy.
Depending on how rare this brew or this version is, it could very likely fund a ship.
As you look at it, Sarah, you read on it.
Yeah.
The label does say from the Red Baron Brewery, and that is where
Okay.
the original. So the original creator of this recipe was one of the Red Barons' legendary adventuring group, who disappeared a few years back, just vanished. No one knows what happened to him.
His son did pop up though.
and is dead. Said dwarf who invented this recipe had a brewery in Dragon's Gate that he had set up, that was closed down and was foreclosed upon. And supposedly, any batch made by him directly was valued at somewhere around 200,000 gold pieces at the lowest price.
Yeah, that's she's kind of looking at it. It's like, oh, this could most likely probably fund our ship and more. We should we should probably
Well,
not drink this.
you mean when we get to the, and she puts air quotations, the next city, as in the city after the city after the city after the city after the city.
I look at Sigrun and I
Yes.
simply say, you know what? The next town that actually has other people in it with money.
No, I think we wait till we find a good place, and if it is worth so much, then I barter with someone who has the money. You think these war-ridden places have the funds?
I don't think any of us are. You know what? Do however you will. It's your loot.
Where we're going next should be that city. I can put it in my bag for now to keep it safe.
Well, then we'll see. I don't know. I kind of really want to take a swig and try it out. You know, I'm
It
a
is
big
still
fan of
sealed.
the alcohols.
Yeah, it'd be best to not do that because this could be worth a lot of
If you
money
broker
to
a
us.
good enough deal with the person you sell it to, maybe they'll allow you a drink.
So, I don't think that's how deal works, but I don't know how your culture is.
Dwarves are strange like that. If you bring alcohol for a trade, sometimes they'll crack it open there, and when the trade's done, everybody gets a sip.
Well,
Yeah,
I
Sarah
don't
will
think
put it in
everybody.
her-
I don't
put it in
think
her
you're
bag.
tough enough to
Okay.
handle it, Nick.
All right. As you lot continue talking about this, eventually you start to see glow coming from the basement.
I head down.
Alright. One sec.
Summoning demons, let's go!
As the circle starts to activate, Isabella just kind of waves you guys to stand in the center of it. She looks at Shogun and smiles and nods, and then she bites her finger and sets her thumb down on one of the edges of the thing, and you see the blood kind of trickle out around the entire circle, and it activates. And as soon as it activates, you vanish in a poof of light and find yourself standing in the middle of the noble district of a very, very busy city of dwarfs as they're walking around,
Isabel
and they
better
look
be
at
with
you
us.
kind of weird. Yeah, she is. Everyone's with you.
Nice.
I pat Isabel on the head. Good job.
But yeah, you guys are now in the city of Cardissia, and you can see that you are in the nobleman's district. You can smell the ocean. You see very rich dwarves walking around in almost what would be considered royalty clothing for most other lands. And the city seems completely untouched by the war, as construction's going on. You can hear chatter. Nothing. I mean, the guards are walking around peacefully. It seems like a nice city, and it's completely open. There's no tiered system like most of the other dwarven cities, where they have a nobleman's district and then the rest of the commoners. This city has no inner walls and just is set up as a single open port city.
It's Omashu!
Yeah, basically. There you go.
And we were in. You said Shininess, or what was left of Shininess?
You were, yes.
Or what was the town?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the city of Shininess.
Shininess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sparkle!
Yeah. Once landing, Sarah will just
You take the lead here. I'm not great in cities.
will lead to
I'm
probably
very
kind of
great.
out of the noble district to probably a modest level, like inn
Okay.
that she probably knows.
So-
figuring we can get a base operations first.
Sarah is familiar in the city with 4 inns that are of note. The Dwarven Light, that's ran by a elven woman. The Stoned Arm, which is ran by an old dwarf that managed to craft himself an arm made out of actual stone through his artificer abilities. The King's Head, which is known to have extreme regalia, but has a very elite clientele. You will have to speak to the bouncer, but if you can tell the owner a good story, he gives rooms for only a gold piece apiece per room, and you will have free meals and free drinks. And then the last one is the Double Raven Inn, which is technically part of the what is jokingly referred to as the Whores Union. It's a brothel / inn that has expanded a lot.
Here. Oh. Okay.
No, it's not the same city.
Yeah.
This is a very
Not the same
different
city.
city.
We're in a different city, but you know, you always gotta. What's the word I'm looking for? Expand your
I wanted to beat up
premise.
Sad.
Any
Well,
of those does
It would have
Sarah
been funny to have
know
Alban just pop
know,
out
like,
and be like,
the
I can sell jewels.
owner or the
Nope.
main proprietor?
Well, all four of
from
these
either her?
owners are not really. I mean, the King's Head wouldn't let you in originally, but at the time you
Right.
were just a guard, so you didn't really have any good stories. But all the rest, no, you've never stayed at yourself. You've recommended to traveling merchants, but you've never stayed or had any experience dealing with the owners.
Do any know
Wait,
the wolves?
since I've been traveling around, would I know any of the names that you suggested?
Nope, you've never been to Cardissia. It's not really a town
I'm just
for
talking
humans.
about if there were any inns under the same names.
Oh
out.
yeah, the Whores Union
Anyway.
is well known across the most of the Silencian lands. They literally are one of the only unionized brothels.
I look at
Wow.
everybody and go. I'm gonna look at everybody and go. I know this is a bad idea, so we're not gonna do it. We're not going to the union.
No, what? Brussels are a great place, I hear.
I
know? There's
look
not
at
many in
Sigrun,
the
then I
Scrofy
simply
lands,
point
but-
at the children.
Nick Jr.
No,
looks
they-
at you and goes, "You really think as slaves we don't know what a brothel is?"
No,
I know you. I
Listen.
without looking at him, I simply say I know you do, but I'm trying to at least give you a
They
better
don't
life than
have to
that.
indulge. They don't have to. They can stay out of the activities part and just sleep. But you don't
could you
think
repeat
parents
those
fuck
again,
with children
DM?
in the house?
Yeah.
Just the names.
So the King's Head,
Okay.
the Dwarven Light, I believe, was the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
The Stone Arm, and the fourth was the Double Raven Inn, which is also known as the Whores Union.
Yeah. And just making a note quick. Well, we can head to the King's Head. I've never been in prior, but if any of you've got good stories, you can.
I think we all
We
have a
can get
hell of
in.
a good one with traveling to an entirely different dimension.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
could.
Unbelievable that story is, however.
Yeah, I've
Doesn't
been
matter
told
how-
it's a golden night and you get food included, but you need to have a good story to get the special and get in. Otherwise, yeah, there's a couple other choices. Dwarven Light, Stone Arm, Double Raven Inn, but
Yeah, that's the
That's
only one I know that.
not.
At least their rooms are usually good and whatnot. It's just
Yeah.
I'll go with whatever everybody
Sarah
else
just
votes for.
nods at that comment.
Sarah
Realizing-
gets where Nick is coming from, where we shouldn't really take children into a brothel.
There might be other reasons, but
I don't see a problem.
she has a bad experience with one of the brothel employees.
Shogun having no common sense sees no problem with this.
Yeah, no, Sigrun's like, well, the brothel is reliable if it has entertainment. I don't see why we shouldn't go.
I look at the kids and go, which one do you two want to go to?
Isabella just shrugs her shoulders, and Nick just looks at you and goes, "King's Head's cheap, but there's a lot
If
of
you
magic
gotta-
coming from there. The brothel, I mean, I'm not really partaking these days. I'm gonna be honest." As he kind of smiles at you a lot and goes,
I give
"The other two, I mean, hey, it's up to you lot. We don't care. We're just following along."
Stone Arm, skilled artificer.
I
he's
have
supposedly
many stories, but I don't think the people here would, like scruffy tales, so.
Hey, you're unique. You're not
I'll
from
take
these
that
lands.
cover.
Nick pipes up, looking
No,
at
that's
Sigrun.
true.
You're a unique race,
Oh,
so
okay.
maybe
That is
that's
true.
enough.
Actually, I have a
could
question.
try it.
How are the
Let's
like,
just go to the
people
king's
around us
head then.
reacting to Sigrun? Like, how are they like
Most of the
react
dwarves
to
don't
it
kind
appearing?
of. Most of the dwarves kind of notice you, but keep their. I mean, they're not necessarily polite folk. They just really don't tend to
Don't give a
mix
shit.
with non-dwarves or people that aren't merchants. And you definitely aren't a merchant, so most of them just seem to give you a little bit of a wide berth and avoid you.
Well, I have an
Yeah,
ale.
we've
like,
probably
that
been walking a
is-
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Just
head
kind
to
of
the
heading
king's
heading
head.
out of the noble area, and
Yeah.
then if need be, kind of stop and talk type of a thing. Just
Okay. I mean, you'll see
Okay, let's
plenty
go
of
to the
shops.
king's
nobles as
head.
much.
There's plenty of
Yeah.
magic there too, which means that
Okay.
getting into trouble for everyone who can use it, myself included.
So are
Yeah.
you heading to the King's Head?
Yep.
Okay. So as you
Final
head
answer.
down, going towards the actually, luckily enough, it's actually right on the harbor. So where the nicer portion
Nice.
of the major boats are traveling. You see sailors walking in and out, but most of the captains seem to be going either to the Double Raven Inn, or they're going into the King's Head. So as you kind of see the sailors walking about and a few of the captains walking in, you see the bodyguard is what looks to be a shorter gnome with very long white hair and wearing basically what looks to be drow glasses that help with the dark vision issue or light sensitivity issue. Sorry. And he is wearing what looks to be very official looking, like almost noble leather armor. He has a simple staff on his back, as well as a wand and a few little liquid potions on his belt. And he just looks at you and goes, "All right, let me hear it."
Who would like to tell a story?
I
got-
will
I mean,
We got some sort of goblin. We got some sort of walking warthog. A human. Another human. Oh, hey, Sarah. Nice. Good seeing you. As you look.
Okay.
Well,
One of them
I am
guards.
wearing normal clothing. This is great.
He looks at you out and goes, "And you've got 2 children. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I think the owner is gonna be very interested to hear how a group like you came together. So, I'm gonna let you in."
Ow.
As he goes to
Oh,
push the door open.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good. And as you walk in, immediately you see the regalia in this building is fancy. This is what you'd expect of a nobleman's ball.
I look at Sarah and I go, "You're the one doing most of the talking here."
As you walk in, you see people dressed in all sorts of time period pieces. Some are in nice suits and dresses. Some are in simpler clothing. Some are in even fancier. You see people wearing
All are
full-on
wearing
wizard's
shirts.
clothing. You see a bar where you see a changeling with what looks to be a dog's head drinking whiskey at the bar.
Hey, you too.
You can see that it's kind of an underwater style theme right now is what the regalia is set up to. So a lot of blues and light blues and greens. The band is playing a very simple music. And out walks a very old looking gnome with a giant walking stick. He's 2 feet tall, roughly from what you can tell. And he's got kind of creaked over as he walks towards you with a long beard that kind of scrolls across the ground. Sarah, Nick, and Shogun, you sense even more magic coming from this man than you did the Lich.
I smile at him and I give a curt bow and greet him.
He looks
Oh,
at you
sir?
a lot and goes,
You must be the proprietor?
yes.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
what's the typical Scrofy greeting?
There isn't one. Most outsiders are welcomed with a feast, but otherwise, it's just mostly drinking and having a good time hanging out and
Yeah, I
telling
wasn't
stories
sure if
of
there
your
was like a
glory.
specific gesture.
No, it's the typical greeting for an outsider is massive feast to welcome them in, drinking and storytelling of great adventures. So,
Nice. Okay.
um,
So
nod her
we're
head.
doing a portion of it anyways.
the man looks at you a lot and goes, "Huh, Sarah, Nick, Sigrun, Shogun, Nick Jr., and Isabella." He looks down at his hand and you see a
What?
sundial on his hand. He goes, "You weren't supposed to meet me for another year. Huh, time flies." As he kind of, "Follow me," and he starts walking back into another room.
Okay,
I
this
guess
sounds fun. I like
Follow.
this.
I'm following. Wait, is Terias with us too, or is
No,
he
Terias
back
is still
in the
not
lab?
with you.
Shogun leads the way. Onwards.
Sigrun
Follow
leans down to
Shogun.
Sarah
I
and
keep-
is like,
Yeah.
I keep
Sarah
the
follows.
kids in front of me though.
Alright. Sarah and
They don't
Sigrun,
want to
as you
wander
follow
off.
in the back, the kids seem to go off to the side and sit at the bar waiting. You see what looks to be chunks of meat brought to them, and they just nod and let you know that they'll be waiting here.
All right.
As you lot go into the room, you come into a very large study where there's bookshelves that go all the way up to almost 13 shelves up, filled to the brim with books of all time period. This rather large room suddenly opens up and you see books stacked everywhere. The one big window behind the table in the center of the room seems to have what looks to be almost an aquarium with creatures from the deep that you've never seen. Some tentacled, some with strange light fixtures.
Oh, resisting the urge to pull out the bestiary and start drawing them.
As he kind of ushers you to sit around this large table, and he goes, "Oh, one moment. It's obviously only set for 4 people." And he goes, "1 moment," and snaps his finger as it extends. And he goes, "Please have a seat."
What
the
size
seat.
are the chairs?
The chairs seem to adjust as you see Nick go sit in one. It seems to adjust to his size almost immediately as he grabs hold of it.
Yeah, and Sigrun takes a seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sarah, sit down.
All
Yeah.
right. He looks, he goes and says, "1 moment," and he claps his hands, and you see a bunch of invisible figures in tuxedos come walking in, holding rather large plates of food as well as drinks left and right, and he sets and stuff is set down in front of each of you. Each of you seeing your own customary meal from your homeland. Shogun does not recognize any of this food, having never experienced this level of nobility or regalia in food.
Look, I stole this fancy outfit. I didn't.
Nick is
Yep.
technically from the Tiefling clan.
Yep, and you get food from the Isle of Man. And Shogun or Sigrun, you also find a full scrofe proper, what looks to be a feast, designed around a rather large fish of some sort from your homeland. Sarah, you see also food from the Isle of Man. This is what looks to be a rather large steak.
Okay.
I'm feeding Babe.
As drink is brought out, and he goes, I hope you don't mind customaries from your homelands.
That's fine.
No,
Technically,
thank
I'm
you.
not from the Isle of Man, but it works.
You seem to have us at a disadvantage, though. You know our names. May I ask yours?
As he kind of takes off, he takes off an invisible wizard's hat that suddenly appears with little stars on it, and it's of a green color. And he sets it down on the table. It goes, "Apologies, allow me to introduce myself." And his back suddenly straightens, and as it cracks and pops, and he starts to, his beard shrinks a little bit. And goes, "My name is Zelm. I hope you're doing well today."
Well,
Yes. Thank you.
we've been better.
He looks at you lot. and he
Sigrun's
goes,
chowing down.
In some of your formal tongues, you may have known me as one of the 12 lords. I hope you are doing well. To tell you a bit about myself, I worked with Rejected Potential at one point. I worked with Amateur Hour, even the Grim Legacy at one point. I even met one of the members of the Time Fornicators long ago. But, as he looks down at his sundial again, goes, "You lot are early, so may I ask what it is that brings you here?"
Well, we have a
Who
story
the
you might not
rest-
believe.
Well, and we were looking to book passage, kind of gesturing to Shogun. He had something he was trying to
Look into.
look into.
Yes.
Research to be done. Magic activation and
He
other
snaps
places.
his fingers and immediately he's like, "I can speak Goblin."
Excellent. Magic research.
Indigestion.
Yep.
Ugh.
Magic research for places that don't have magic, so we can still activate our magic there.
Oh, something only the Heli, the Voli, and the goblins of your species have figured out. Rather rare. Let me see. As he switches back to common, he goes, "Well, you lot are traveling with an interesting lot. Sigrun,
Yeah, we can.
I have many questions for you, but
Yeah.
they will be asked in the future, or rather maybe the past. I can't recall.
God.
He looks and goes, "You're booking passage. Well, I can send you there myself, but to be honest, I think that would take away from half your fun. Where are you looking to go specifically? Sounds like you're looking for research for using magic without needing magic. The only people who've managed that are the Heli, the Voli, and the goblins of Shogun's hair species.
Specifically, ignition research, so to
Oh,
speak.
well, you've already brought in, as he looks at his clock, or did you? Huh. I don't know if this is currently the proper timing. Have you realized that you've brought in an invasion from another multiverse?
Excuse me.
Oh, well, alright, guess it is too early. Alright, well, forget what I said. As I was saying, so you are looking to book passage. The best I can do currently is recommend you a captain that can take you.
That would be great.
Oh, no, then that is perfect. He won't charge you a dime. However, he is notoriously, interesting, as I will put it. Young dwarven fellow that I met on my travels. Bit of an animal-like creature, but he's quite intelligent and does know his way around a boat. I don't recommend returning to the Gnomish lands. It's where you came from, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
good. So the time period is right. I do have the right time.
Seemed to be a little bit of scorched
War torn.
land there.
Oh yes, the Dragonborn.
Scorched earth
Most
styles.
movies.
The Dragonborn, under Tautler's orders, split the army and traveled destroying the entirety of the Gnomish territories. There's no gnome country left. In fact, there are not many gnomes left at all. Ever since that whole Zilpip thing, most races have been very cautious of the species, so it was wiped out. Those few left were either enslaved by the goblins and the Slavers Guilds or enslaved by the Dragonborn. One of the two. Either way, point made. The Dragonkin should be taking and populating the territory, though, anytime soon. But for your travels, you can spend the night here, and in the morning I will send you off to, theoretically, arrive there within 3 weeks. Shouldn't be more than that if he is in a sailing mood, maybe even shorter, depending on the mood.
That sounds great. Thank you.
He nods and goes, I will warn. Oh, wait, it's not time for that warning yet, as he puts his clock away. Rooms are free for the night. Sigrun, I recommend not eating too much. You don't want the situation to pop up on you, which you know of which. Good Sarah, I
Nom,
would,
nom, nom.
I would recommend staying away from our drow friends. Good
Yes.
Nick, I have nothing for you to write on, and if you draw any of my creatures in my little aquarium that I have developed, they will cause you to go mad.
I figured as much. I do have one question that
Yes?
I know you probably can't answer.
It depends on the time.
What did my mother mean by giving me this old journal?
The same thing that is meant that one of your party members has already betrayed you. And he looks over, and Shogun, good sir, I highly recommend, when you're there, do not mention that you have a friend that can travel multiverses to any of those three groups. Although if you
Was it
do
planet-
choose to go to the Voli, I do not recommend dealing with that. There are a lot of demons there.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on bringing it up. Most people wouldn't believe me anyway.
You'd be surprised.
Sigrun pops up like after she like finished chewing. Is like, oh, Zems, I have a question. Do you know who this dwarven fellow is that has been talking to me? And she like kind of unsheathes her axe partially just so he can get a good view of it, not like fully unsheathing to be threatening, just like showing him the head of the axe. Like he's been quiet lately. I don't know why. He hasn't told me his name, but he has a dragon named Shucky that is dead.
She looks at you, and then for a moment, looks at the rest of the party, and looks at you again, and laughs, and goes, huh, he's still alive. Oh well. You'll learn his name soon enough.
Good to know. Yeah, it's weird calling him no name, you know.
You
She
can
like
refer to
she drops the axe back into its sheath.
you can refer to him as the first, would probably be a better word for him.
Okay,
For he is
okay.
even older than I am, and he's not a dwarf, sweetheart.
But he looks like a dwarf.
He does! He does decide to portray himself that way. It's funny how that works. But then again, I decide to portray myself as a gnome, so truly, The question really ends in that. But if you have nothing else for me, I recommend you go enjoy your time with your two children that you have adopted from another multiverse.
Shogun has
Yeah,
one last thing to bring up. He would like to ask for advice on where to start with the ignition research, and who to talk to first.
He smiles and goes, well, the people you invited into these lands would make a great person to talk to.
I suppose so.
The
It is-
children would know best at this point with
It
that.
is not yet time for you to understand your futures and fates. I promise you this. Someone has already caused the end of the world. Another has caused even far worse. But you lot may have just caused the worst scenario, as he smiles.
The end of the multiverse?
No, just a group that may even be able to kill me. Good luck to you, as he kind of suddenly waves his hands in front of him, and the chairs kind of pull out and start pulling you into the other room.
I give him a goodbye wave, just like, okay, thanks.
Sigrun desperately tries to clean the rest of her plate off.
The plate vanishes.
Nick was holding his plate, so when it vanishes, he just looks a little sad. That was not my food. I didn't
as-
eat any of it.
You all kind of get pushed out, and the doors that you came through into the study suddenly seal shut and disappear once more. You find yourself back in the ballroom, where people are walking about, enjoying themselves, having drinks, joking, laughing, and that is where we're going to end today's session, because our next session is going to lead to a lot of combat. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed.
There was going to
and
be
we will
one more
see
thing
you
I was going to
next
have Nick
time.
do.